So what is this SDLC life cycle is nothing but how to handle a software project. So the moment a project comes to any software industry, it will go through a different phases. First they'll gather the requirements, and then they will actually develop the code, and then they'll do a test, and finally they deploy the code. So actually these are the not 4 steps, they have many more steps which are included in these phases. So the performance testing is one of the type of testing we do before making the project live. So what is this performance testing? Performance testing is nothing but to understand the performance of an application. Let me tell you with an example. Okay, suppose think that I have this Big90 career website where I want to know the performance of the site. Suppose if 100 people are accessing my site, so actually I just want to know what is the performance. Suppose the moment I type www.big90career.com, so how much time it is taking me to load. So if it is taking too much of time for me to load, then it is a problem with there is a problem with the performance. So what I am actually going to test in this performance testing is I am going to analyze the performance of a system. So performance is not only, if I am saying that performance testing is not only completely depending on the fast. If it is loading fast, then I am not saying it is performing better. So if 1000 people are accessing the system or using the system, and if it is able to respond in a fastest way, then I can say the performance is better. Okay. So what am I doing in this performance testing is I am understanding, or I am checking the fastness of the system. I am checking the reliability of the system. I am also understanding the capacity of the system. And so how am I going to measure all these different parameters? So the capacity, the reliability, the performance, everything. So to understand any website or an application, what am I doing is I am just verifying these particular parameters to understand whether the site is fast or not. So why is it really required? Why is it really required to understand these parameters? Suppose you have gone to any site. Suppose think this is you have gone to Big90 career site, and if it is responding very slowly, so even though you have typed in the browser, but it is slowly loading. So what do you think about it? You think that so this particular site is very low, and you will feel frustrated, you will feel irritated, and you will stop going to that. So that is actually loss to the business. So to avoid these kind of situations, we have to do the performance testing before making the application live. What is meant by live is nothing but before making this application available to the public. Okay, before making this application available to the public, we have to actually make this application to understand all these parameters. We have to understand all the parameters of capacity, reliability, and performance before making the application live. So this is called a performance testing in an just practical way. I am not explaining in a theoretical definition. This is what we actually do in performance testing. So what is meant by load runner? So everybody is going behind a load runner. What is it actually? So to calculate the performance or to calculate the reliability or the capacity of a system, we use a tool called a load runner. Okay, we use actually a tool called load runner to understand this capacity, reliability, and performance of any website. So that is why we are using a tool called load runner. So let us see the performance concept some more in detail. Okay, so coming to this, so have you anybody observed what is happening when you actually browse an internet? Anybody has an idea? So let me tell you that with an example. Okay, suppose if you are accessing any site, what is happening? Okay, example, now think that I am opening an IRCTC or a Facebook site. Okay, I am just keeping Facebook. So the moment I give a browser name here, what is happening? www.facebook.com. If I am typing, what is happening? I am just getting a home page displayed. So why is it displaying? I am giving an address called. So I am just telling my browser, that means the Chrome browser, to go to this particular Facebook browser. Go to this particular address. The address is Facebook. I am just telling my page to go to this particular Facebook address. I am just giving it and I am telling it to go. I am just typing enter. So when am I typing like this? It is going and searching this particular Facebook server, and then it is hitting Facebook server. The moment I am giving address here, it is directly going and hitting the Facebook server. Once it is hitting the Facebook server, the server is telling, oh, then you want to use a Facebook, then take my home page. Then it is showing me this particular Facebook page. So have you any time observed when you are accessing internet like this? So what is happening is, you are just giving a request from the front end. That means you are just sending this particular URL here. You are just giving an address here. So whatever address you give, so whatever URL you are giving here, it is automatically the address. So once you are giving the address here, it is automatically going and hitting the backend server. So you might know what is a server, or you might heard what is a server is all about. Server is nothing but it's a box, it's a simple box where the data is being deployed. That means now if you are accessing a Facebook here, so the complete data related to Facebook, suppose what is your profile pic, what is your profile name, who are all the friends you have. So complete information related to your Facebook information, everybody's information is saved in a one particular system, or it is like a normal computer with a higher configuration where that is completely saved. So that is called server. So what is happening? You have deployed your Facebook code in a particular box called server, and now you have given an address called Facebook. So what is happening in the browser when you are hitting like this? It is automatically going and hitting the Facebook server. So from the server, it has given us one page called Facebook homepage. Suppose if you give the credentials here, okay, if you give credentials, username and password, so automatically it will authenticate that you are a trusted user, and then it will take you to the homepage. So how is it checking whether you are an authenticated user or not? Whether your profile really exists in a Facebook or not? Think somebody who is not having a Facebook profile and they are trying to log in here, what will happen? It will say user doesn't exist, or you have given that user is not at all present. Your password is wrong. So how is it saying but the moment you are giving? Suppose think that I am giving my username here, okay? If I am giving my username here, and then if I am typing something here and then clicking login, what is it saying? It is saying that your password is wrong or something is mistake. So how the system is actually knowing that I typed a mistake password? How is it actually knowing this? Have you any time understood these kind of things? See, what is happening in the backend is nothing but what is happening in the backend is nothing but the moment you give a username or a password, okay, what is happening is the moment you give username or password, what is happening is it is verifying that you are a user of Facebook or not. The moment you give a username to the Facebook, what is happening is it is verifying you are a user of the Facebook or not. If yes, it is actually matching with the password which you have given through sign up page. Okay, so it is mapping your username with the password what you have given. It is verifying both that, and if it is matching, you are getting a home page. If not, it will tell you that your password is wrong, or you have typed a mistake password, some error message it is throwing. So why is it happening is each and everything what you are giving from the front end, it is getting authenticated from a back end part called server. So what we are actually doing in a performance testing is nothing but whatever the request you are sending in the front end, how the server is responding to you. Whether the server is responding fast for a more number of people, or whether the server is responding in a delayed mode or a medium mode. So all these things we are trying to observe using performance testing. Okay, that is what usually happening in a URL. So URL is nothing but unified resource locator. When you are providing a URL to a system, automatically it is giving you the home page from the server, right? So somebody you might have observed that https:// and you can see www.facebook.com. What is it actually? And sometimes you can see, if you see my home page Big IT Career, it is simply www. There is no https. So what is the difference between these two URLs? Okay, HTTPS is nothing but Hypertext Transfer Protocol secured. So why is it secured? Why is actually they want to make it secured? Because lot of user database is present for this particular site, and they want the information to be secure. So who are the friends here? Or there will be some logic behind giving this, because if you can see any banking website or any HDFC or ICICI, any banking site where you can see a secured site. What is the secured is nothing but you cannot directly hack. You might heard ethical hacking or all these terms, right? You cannot hack these servers. They are very much secured and you cannot get any information from them. These are very secured and they have very security measures implemented in these particular systems. And some systems where you have these security measures are not present, that is why there be simply HTTP, not HTTPS. Suppose here in this site Bignity Career, you cannot see HTTP also. You can just see www dot. So what is that mean is by default, if it is not secured, it is by default HTTP. Okay. If I just type http://www.bignitycareer.com, let's see what is displaying. So that means it is taking as www.bignitycareer.com. Okay, it is not taking me HTTPS. Suppose if I give just Facebook, if I am giving just http and :/facebook.com, let us see what is happening. It is directly taking me to HTTPS and there is a lock symbol here which says that it is secured. So even though you want to access which is unsecured format of Facebook, it is automatically taking to a secured format and it is giving you the home page. So there are we have different information like this on each and every site. So when you are doing performance testing, you should understand what is there in the backend. So looking at this, I can say definitely that there is an extra component called secured server along with server boxes. So they have already servers, but there is a security in that. So you cannot get the information from them easily. That is what we can understand from this URL. Okay. So anybody have any doubts? Okay, thanks. So coming to the next concept, okay. So let us see what is happening. So why we are actually doing an performance testing? Why not? Why is it really important? Why is because suppose think that there is a user database of around 2,000 people or 20,000 people. So everybody might know the IRCTC site, right? The IRCTC, as during the Tatkal time, you will not get the tickets at all. Why you are not getting tickets is because the server is not able to accommodate all the people at the same time. Because during the Tatkal time, when you open an IRCTC site, what happens is, it is actually, the moment you type in irctc.co.in, internet page cannot be displayed. 505 error, 404 error, different kinds of errors it will throw you because the number of sessions or the number of people who are accessing the site at that particular time is too high. So it cannot give you the pages, the home page, the server home page, okay, at that particular moment. So why is it happening is the server might crash or it is not able to handle too many people at that particular time. So that is why it is crashing. So suppose you think that any site is there, for that particular site we have 3 servers. So why 3 servers? Because of due to lot of people or too many people, what we are actually doing is we are just installing 3 servers for that. So what happened is because we are installing 3 servers, think that IRCTC has 3 servers, and because lot of users are there, because of the load or due to some reason, the server got crashed. Okay, the server got crashed. So what you have to do is, once the server got crashed, the rest of the 2 servers has to serve the other people. So what is happening now? The other 2 people who are present, other 2 servers who are present, they have to serve the complete users. So the load on the other 2 servers will become too high. So at some point these also cannot accommodate all the people, so you will get these kind of issues. So what they thought, before making an application live itself, we want to find out all these difficult issues, what is happening. Okay, if you find all these issues beforehand itself, you can avoid huge business loss. Suppose think that you have a banking account with an HDFC where you are about to transfer money to your friends or to any account. So it says that it is too busy or something like that. So you will feel you will lose interest on the bank. So next time you will not take account from HDFC, which is lost to the business. So what will happen? So because of that, they will lose customers, they will lose money, everything. So that is a business loss. So if they could have found out the issue before itself, so they could have avoided these kind of business losses. That is why it is very much important to do the performance testing before making the application live. Clear? So let us see the performance testing methodology. So what is this performance testing methodology? Is nothing but, so when actually you have to start a performance testing, and what are the different phases of performance testing. So when you have to start this, there are two different methods. You can do a performance testing. Either you can do the performance testing before making the application live. That means after testing, normal functional testing, you can go to you can do a performance testing 2 months, for the 2 months, and then you can make the application, you can deploy the application directly to the public, or you can make it live. That is usually one method. So before making the application live, you can do a performance testing, and the project duration will be approximately 2 to 3 months if you are just doing a testing before production. Suppose if you want to do a performance testing, the clients might hire you during the development phase itself. That means when the application is being developed itself, they will hire these performance testers to do a performance testing. So at that moment also you can do a performance testing, but the duration will be too long if it is in the second phase. So coming to the methodology, so how the performance testing actually start, like how what is the total phases of a performance testing. Okay, so in the performance testing methodology, the first phase is requirements gathering. So what do you actually do in the requirement gathering? So you have to finalize some requirements. So what is a requirement? Requirement is nothing but when the application is being developed. Okay, so let me just show you with an example. So think that this is a site. Okay, when the application is being developed, the requirement is that it should have a complete courses tab, and it should have different courses in it. So that is the requirement. So when I am doing performance testing, I will not completely concentrate on all the functionalities. Here I have a functionality of courses. I have an option to registration. I can visit pricing. I can see all this. I can see blog. I can see contact us. So this is a complete functionality of an application. But what am I doing? I am not interested in doing a performance testing of complete application. Okay, I just want to do a performance testing on very important things. So what are that very important? That means more people usage. So the moment people come in here, they have to submit an inquiry. So the moment they submit an inquiry, they will see, I just want to check this particular option. Okay, I just want to check whether the submit inquiry is working for more number of people or not. I just want to check need certification. Many people will be interested in knowing the certification. So I just want to check whether the certification page is working properly or not. So actually more usage by the people. I have to concentrate on the requirements which are more used by the people, not on the minimal things. So search will be very less used, and contact us page, when they are clicking, it will be very less used, and clicking on the blog option, that will be very less used. So I just have to concentrate on the things which are more used by the people, not on the things which are less used. Okay, and also the things which are that means, suppose if you are which are the things which are used by database. That means when I am searching some course or something, okay, searching a course. So what is happening is, I just want to understand what are the different kinds of courses they actually. Okay, so what are the different kinds of courses they actually see, all this stuff I want to understand. Okay, so now what is there in the requirement phase is nothing but, in the requirement phase I am just understanding what are the different things I have to consider. So mission critical things, what are the different important requirements, more people database usage, and what are the more important things people will use. Example, if you are going for any ticketing site, if you are going to use a IRCTC site, what you most probably use? You will search for a ticket, you will book for a ticket, and cancelling many people will be doing very less. So searching for a ticket, most probably people will be doing it. So search I have to consider. So this is how I will finalize the requirement for a performance testing. So coming to the test planning. So once the requirements is being finalized, I will go for a test planning where I will just understand what are the objectives which are in scope and what are the objectives which are out of scope. Okay. So what are the objectives in scope and out of scope is nothing but suppose think I have 10 requirements. 10 requirements is like search criteria, booking a ticket, cancelling a ticket, and then logging off. I have finalized some requirements in the requirement phase. So coming to the test planning, what am I doing here is like I am just defining my scope. How many performance testers I have to hire. So what are their responsibilities? What tool I am going to use, and what is the test environment I am considering, and what is the procedure I am actually following. What are the timelines? When am I submitting the complete report? So each and everything I will prepare a document called test plan document. So why is this important? This will actually maintain us to be on the timelines, and also what are the requirements we have finalized. It should get a sign off from all the upper management. We are very new to application. I said that performance testing project only will be present for 2 to 3 months. So we are completely new to the application. So this time we are just considering IRCTC. There might be some different banking site where the applications will be application is completely new. So what am I doing is I have to get a sign off from all the people. Okay, I have to get a sign off from all the people saying that these are the requirements I am considering in my total project. Are you okay with that? So all these things, because we are mentioning in a document called test plan document, we have to get a sign off from all the people. So once they said yes, you can go ahead with the project, then we can go with a test implementation. That means we either use a load runner tool or either use a JMeter, either you go with a Silk Performer, either you go with a rational performance tester and Visual Studio. We have many different performance testing tools. Okay, we have many different. So then you will decide what is the tool you have to use it, and then you will prepare scripts for the requirements what you have finalized. So how do you actually prepare the scripts? It depends on the tool. Suppose if you are using a JMeter, you should know a Java. Suppose if you are going with a load runner tool, you should know the basic C language. And then you will prepare a scripts, you will develop everything, and then you will go with the execution. So what is this execution actually mean? Execution is nothing but I am just verifying the application with the load. Load is nothing but the 1000 number of users or 2000 number of users. Every application or every business will have an estimated load. So based on that, I will prepare my execution, and then finally the results will be published and it will be shared with the client. So the total phases of testing methodology is total I have. First one is requirement analysis. The next one is test planning. The third one is test implementation. Then I will go with the execution, and finally with the result analysis. So this is called a performance testing methodology. Okay, anybody have any questions in this? Okay, thank you. So this is the basic introduction about the performance testing methodology. Okay, so coming to the load runner introduction. Okay, load runner introduction, basically we'll have 3 components for the load runner. Okay, the first thing is virtual generator. Yeah, somebody is asking me some question. Hello, somebody is asking me some question.